In the Exiles and Partisans expansion for the Root board game, 3 new Vagabonds are sneaking through the forest, plus an all-new deck for an even wilder wood. So today, I'm going to check out the first of the 3 Vagabonds, and that is the Adventurer. There are no new tutorials for this, so if you've already learned how to play the Vagabond, you won't get anything new there content-wise. So to access the new Vagabonds that you can play, you can just go in. This is create a regular game. You don't get to choose from this screen which Vagabond you're using. You actually have to wait until you get into the game to do that. So let's just get a nice mix here. The Marquise de Cat, the Airy, and the Lizard Cult. That'll give us a nice balance. Now, this has been a little while since I played with the Vagabond. This is my first try with this fella, the Adventurer, and it has been a little while since I've played. So the Ranger, Thief, Tinker, I've already done strategy guides and playthroughs on those. The Vagrant, Arbiter, Scoundrel, also covered those on our channel, Legendary Tactics. So we've got the Adventurer, the Ronin, and the Harrier. So the Adventurer, once per turn, you may damage an item to treat it as another item for a quest. So if you really like questing, that's going to be a good guy to choose. The Ronin, Swift Strike. In battle, you may exhaust a sword to deal an extra hit. Ooh, that sounds like my type. And the Harrier, move to any clearing, even hostile. You may not bring allies and don't need to exhaust boots. Okay, so if you're into movement and you like getting around quickly, you can get your build going early. The Harrier might be a good pick. So I'm going with the Adventurer. As ever, just scanning the board to see, wow, it looks really dark for some reason. Just scanning the board to see where the treasure chests are and where the ideal opening space will be. Marquise and Airy, of course, are on opposite sides of the board. And with the Vagabond, as ever, you become the person who balances the game. So I like to position myself such that I can either take down the Marquise early and start to slow their progress, or if the Lizard Cult starts looking dangerous, I can poke away at them. So early on, I always like to explore the treasure chests and just see what I get randomly. The only problem is if you don't get satchels faster than you get other tools. So this is good. I can do a build here. I like getting the crossbow going because it makes battling really easy because I can thin people out and then start taking out their infrastructure. And that's a really good way to manage your opponents. So another build here. I'm really flush with the hammers, so up to 3 hammers now. I don't really need that many, but I get a couple victory points out of it. So this is a great opening turn. The only problem would be playing with human opponents is they might start getting a little bit panicked if you score this many points this quickly. So yeah, this doesn't do anything for me. That was a misplay. I mean, I get 1 victory point, but I didn't actually get anything for that. So I could have maximized that better, especially when I have no cards. That wasn't really an ideal play. And taking out here the Marquise so that the Lizard Cult can battle with him and take out his infrastructure. Hopefully that works out. So here are my quests: Expel Bandits, Guard Duty, and Expel Bandits. So you need to be in the clearing for each one to make that happen. And I don't have to have 2 swords at this point because I can damage another item to make up one of the swords, but I'm still stuck because I still need 1 sword. So I'll need to get around to get those chests and look for that sword. Now, so this game here, I'm just narrating after the fact, but at the time I was recording, over top of the Marquise's icon in the top left, my recording bar had come up, so I couldn't actually see that he had items available for me to trade. So it does take me a little while in this game to notice that he's got the items, the exact items I need, because I actually had to go and move that little overlay. So forgive my slow attempt there, but I'll make it worth your while. I'll take you through to a good conclusion in this game. So early on, you only get 1 victory point for those quests, or 2 cards. At this point, I need card draw. I like to refresh the torch, of course, because the torch is what you use to get items out of the treasure chests. So I'll just start cycling my way around the board. I am full up, so I really need a satchel quite badly. So let's hope for the bag here. Oh, it's a sword. Okay, so I'm going to have to dump something because I have gotten a little overzealous here. And I do like to thin out the Marquise, especially in the center of the board and close to his keep, so that he can't expand too quickly. All right, I just needed to refresh there in order to get the quest to pop up. So now that I do have a sword, I can actually do one of these quests. Just didn't click through properly there. There we go. And so improvise is my power, so I'll damage the boot. I always find early on I don't really need a lot of movement anyways. And now I need card draw more than I need anything else. So all right, decent cards there. So you need to be in the bunny clearing to craft those, and they both require 2 hammers, which I have if I decide to activate those. Yeah, this game is really fun. I really love Root, and I imagine if you're here watching, you probably enjoy it too. If you're trying to decide if you're going to buy this expansion, it's an absolute no-brainer for $8.99 if the game is one that you really love. It adds some variability to the play. I haven't gotten into the majority of the content yet, but just to have 3 extra Vagabonds, to me, I mean, that's almost worth it as is. If you're someone who's never played Root before, then this absolutely would be too much information. It would be overload, and I would not recommend buying it right off the hop. It's something to save for a lot later when you've invested in the game and you're a little tired of the traditional characters. Of course, this content has been available in its physical form for quite a while, so but today is in fact the first day that it's been available in its digital form, and for me that's the best form because you get to muck around and play it multiple times over. So here I'm feeling somewhat aggressive, perhaps a little too aggressive. The sword will let me complete a quest if I go for that. Or I could just do some crafting, which I think is probably the better choice here to get my infrastructure down. I mean, I'm at 6 points and only the area has a point so far, so get down to the bunny clearing so I can do one of these. Now, this card benefits me and one other player because there's 3 opponents. I can spread out who I benefit based on who's losing the game. So I think of myself as a really nice guy here who's just wanting to help all the other woodland creatures. But it's just a way, I mean, I'm going to be attacking whoever the point leader is, just based on how the setup is going. The area's not looking particularly strong or well defended. Here's a little glance at the Adventurer card. Got a nice little summary of everything there. And so that decree is going to really punish him if he fails on that with 4 wild bird cards. So he's going to basically lose all his points if he can't finish that decree. So, and as the Vagabond, you can target certain areas to try to make sure that he doesn't do that. Now the lizard cult is actually starting to make tracks here. So I need to watch out for him because he is starting to spread his influence. So I think I'll start to shift my approach to slowing his advance down somewhat. So yeah, I absolutely want to get that extra card. You can cycle your cards if you end up not needing some. That's fine. That's okay. You get rid of the junk, right? But the faster you get those cards through, the faster I'm going to get the satchels to expand. Oh, a little graphical error here. Hopefully they fix that. So I can get rid of that dominance card. I don't really like winning through dominance with the Vagabond. And so teapots here would be a real nice addition. The satchel would be nice. So I haven't really rounded out my toolkit very well here, so I guess I need to slowly start making my way back towards the treasure chest and hope for the best there, because nobody is crafting anything at this point that I can use. So I'm almost better just to look at busting this guy's infrastructure here. He's got a little too much of a concentration there, and he's weak. So if I can knock him down now before he gets out of control, that'll do well. Yeah, bye-bye boots. Don't really need too much mobility at this point. I mean, you get a free movement at the start of each turn. So he's not happy with me. I've kind of broken my relationships now with the Marquise and the Lizard Cult, but what can you do? Yeah, this is a game that just has so much replayability. Oh, there's the satchel I need to build, so I need to end up in a mouse clearing next turn. So I can build that. Ambush cards are always great to have in hand. So we'll lose that dominance card. Yeah, that little sack will really help matters. Yeah, I'm not really having to manage or monitor the area at all. They aren't proving to be that capable or adept in this game. There we go. They've entered turmoil, so that was pretty pathetic on their part. That's just so punishing for him at this stage when he's starting to get his infrastructure going. The Marquise hasn't scored a single point, so I'm not really up against some formidable enemies here, but I just wanted to give you a look at how this can work, and I will start to use that questing ability shortly. Before that, I do like to round out my toolkit and make sure I have some choice with what I'm doing. Wow, look at this surge. Lizard Cult. Wow, okay, he's up to 6 points in one turn, so he's up to 9 points, pulled ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna need to slam the brakes on him hard. Fortunately, I'm in a position to do that. Well, the area, I just feel so bad for him. He's just really not doing well. Yeah, so teapots are something I desperately need. And of course the sack. Yeah, let's knock this guy back a peg first. Honestly, part of the secret of winning with the Vagabond is just making sure that everybody else doesn't win. Getting them fighting with each other, and that's decent. Take out a couple of those nests. That'll put me in the lead again. Okay, so let's get that satchel crafted while I'm in the mouse clearing. It does make sense to also focus your efforts on some of the quests because the points start to stack later in the game, so then you can surge in the end game when everybody teams up against you. That's sold out, so I can get rid of that. There aren't any more crossbows left, too bad. Yeah, these guys are really starving me of items to trade here. Not being too kindly to me. Which is probably the right play if you're in their shoes. But at some point, one of them has to break. Okay, there's a sack for the Marquise. So I'm not as desperately in need of it, but I will probably need that shortly. Yeah, teapots is where it's at for me. Coins are okay. I'm so good on card draw now that I don't really need coins at all. Yeah, I've been waiting for this expansion for quite a while, and I knew this game was in development, and Direwolf Digital has been working fastidiously on adding more content, because there's still lots more to go too, so they're just sort of slow bleeding it out. But enjoy the game enough that, I mean, $9 is a meal at McDonald's, right? So not even. I think you can just get only the Big Mac now, not the actual meal. Inflation's just going so crazy. Right, so we'll just keep him at bay. Don't want him expanding. That's where it gets fun as a Vagabond. You start to get some real options. Get a couple of victory points there, or the sword is the real bonus, though. With a couple of swords, I can do more of the quests. Alright, another satchel, that'll do fine. Just slowly trickling up on the victory points. Want to keep that sword if I can. I like inflicting damage. Ambush is good to keep. Tax collector's not great. Gonzo. You can also keep some of those cards on hand just to trade away. If there's a bad card, then you can trade that to someone who doesn't really need it. So in this case, the Marquise is looking like a potential trade partner. 1 point for the Airy. It seems like it would actually be hard to only have 1 point by now. For him, seriously. And we're keeping the lizard cult at bay. It's nice if the lizard cult and the Marquise can get at each other's throats. It's perfect. That's what I want to see. Take him down, left it plumb for the picking. It's only 1 victory point for the Marquise, but that definitely slows the lizard cult down. My goal in this, I mean, I think of the AI as just a bit of a pace car, but my goal is to win the game while everybody else is under 20 points, because then you've handily managed to get there as efficiently as possible. That's ultimately what I'll be aiming for. I think it's reasonable at this point. 15 points, the Marquise. Not in great position. I mean, the Airy, it's going to take a lot for him to... He'll be lucky if he cracks 10 points, to be honest. If things continue at the rate they're going now. Okay, so this is where the Marquise has that teapot, and this is where I should definitely have actually chosen to go to him to get that teapot. I need to get my items refreshed quicker so that I can do more actions. And so while I get the Explorer, I've got the room. The boot is pretty useless to me, and that 1 victory point is fine, but I really ought to be getting into a Marquise space and giving him some cards. Especially when he's so low on the point scale, this would be ideal. So this was a bit inefficient. And by the way, if you see any other massive inefficiencies that I've had here, please let me know. I have had my focus on other games for quite a while, so I haven't been playing Root. It's fun though. I made all the strategy guides for all the different factions for this game, so because it's so long between plays, I sometimes have to go back and watch my own strategy guide. Sometimes they're actually quite helpful. I feel like with this game, you need to really get into the zone with the characters and really learn all the nuances of how they interact with the other powers, and my memory's not so good, so I sometimes forget that, so it's fun to go back and check out which videos were enjoyable. Yeah, don't really need dominance, but gotta keep that. 2 victory points in a sword. Ambush, gotta keep those. Dealing the extra hit is really nice. Well, you know how I feel about boots, so get rid of the boots. really do feel like the item you can dispense with. So I'm up to 17 points and I haven't really been questing very much. It's not a part of the Vagabond that I'm naturally into. It feels like you're playing quests like you're playing a different game from everybody else. It just feels like, oh, I'll just wander around and give a speech and clear out some bandits and do whatever I like. So yeah, this is where I make the... I think I noticed that he actually had built 2 teapots now, which I desperately need. But yeah, the quests just feel like you're just this random player doing your own thing. I'd much rather go around and harass everybody and knock out their infrastructure and be a pest. It's much more fun that way. So it's fun to see these guys pummeling each other. Yeah, so there's my mouse coming up, and that's where I actually moved the overlay and started noticing all the goodies that were waiting for me. So on the bright side, at least I can go and start dumping a bunch of cards and get them all at once. Yeah, this game's been very forgiving to me, though, because I can give cards to the area. It's not even hard to decide who to give cards to. Yep, not planning any violence this turn. Oopsie, that's not where I wanted to go. So I gotta be friends with this Marquise, so let's start trading. Yeah, I've done alright to get to 17 points with a limited kit the way it is, but this is where I'll start to excel much more quickly. Now the only danger here is giving the Marquise so many cards all at once. I'm starting to actually get to decent cards, like I'm giving him a wild card there. So that might be bad, but I'm actually planning on leaving him in the dust and finishing this game rather quickly, so hopefully he won't have time to even crack 20. What do you choose to exhaust here? What's the point of getting the teapot if I exhaust it, right? So, alright, so that torch is down, but I still have my sword, and with my power... Oh, I'll have to just refresh here. That should have come up... Oh, no, that's right. Sorry, there was no quest available. I guess I'm in the wrong clearing. Yeah, it's not a bad power overall. It's just not my style of play. I think I'll have a lot more fun with the Ronin. Now, the only problem with this expansion coming out is I made a tier list based on all the previous Vagabonds, the 6 of them, so now I'll have to get some playtime in and rejig my tier list. I'm not feeling like this one is going to be one of the top ones. It's almost like the Thief, where it doesn't feel like a power that's super effective. I mean, I guess if you really focus on questing and you just stay out of everybody's way, then this could be a real boost, and it actually makes questing a viable path to victory. I think of questing as sort of a supporting. If there's nothing better to do, then I'll do a quest, but maybe just my my aggressive way of thinking about this game. Here we go, 7 items. This is where it gets really fun. It's not even hard to choose now. I mean, who needs a boot, right? Maybe I'm underestimating the boot. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm handicapping myself by not being flexible with my movement. I love doing that. Get all these cards, pretend you're his friend, totally take advantage of him, then just kill him. All right, so I'm over the 20 mark. Get my 3 victory points and my coins there. There we go. A couple of bunny clearings, so it's only 1 victory point, but again, it'll build if you go ahead and activate those. Just whether... I just can't resist. I just can't hold myself back. Gotta take out the poor fella. Oh yeah, double ambush. The Marquise is starting to become a bit of a pest here. 16 points. He's actually my next biggest contender, so 23 points gets me within striking distance. If I can, let's do 1 quest here. Gets me to 24, and then I should be able to win in the next turn if all goes well. So I have to damage something because I don't have the torch here. Coins I don't really need. My card draw is fine. There's nothing I really need to add to my toolkit to win because I can fight effectively. I can craft cards. I'm really in quite good shape here. 24 points is pretty solid. I love that the digital edition of this game really allows friends to learn the game. Oh, the Airy. Oh, man, that guy needs to watch my strategy guide. Yeah, I think he's lost his decree. What is that, 3 times now? It's unheard of. He's really misplaying. Stupid robot. Yeah, no, it's a game that you can play with friends. Everybody can get to know it. I find gathering together a group of friends to play the live game is hard to get people who all know how to play. Unless you own the digital edition, in which case you don't. I mean, there's other games you can bring to the tabletop. So this one is one that I just really enjoy in this digital form. Uh-oh, the Marquise is almost up to the 20 mark. We can't let that happen. So let's see if I can finish the deal here. If we math it out, it looks like it should be possible. So we've got a bit of a target here. I can take out the lizard cult for a couple of points. Probably can't quite get where I need to go. Oof, I mean, I could attack the home base, but I have to get through 3 mice before I start taking his buildings. So I think this is the easier target with just 1 lizard. A couple of his nasty skull gardens. Yep, we can quest for a couple of points. So here I have the choice to use my power or not. So I decide not to because I've already got the requirements. I guess I could have done it but I mean, there's nothing else I really need to use, so. I don't really need the card draw there, so. Do I really need to craft at this point? Not really, 26 points. Why milk it out? We'll craft for a couple. $28 points. So this is looking pretty favorable here. Since he's defenseless, this is a guaranteed win. And you know what that means. Puts me to 32 points. So that's game. That was my first attempt with the Adventurer. Yeah, he's fine overall. I wouldn't say he's one I'm going to go back to a huge amount, but if you're into questing, you might really like that. So thanks for watching here on Legendary Tactics, and I'll be sure to get up a preview of the other Vagabond characters as well. Thanks for checking us out.